You're watching Universal Groove. I have Monica Rocha here with us. Finally, we've kind of been going back and forth for a while, but we finally got you here. So I want to jump into just kind of where you're from and, where you grew up.
I'm from Corona, California. I was raised here all my life with my parents, my mom and dad, and with my brothers, all four brothers. Yeah, pretty much my whole family lives in Corona, California to Riverside, pretty much in the IE area.
And for people that don't know, so Corona can get, there's elements out there, right? It could be super hot, it could be super cold.
Yeah.
But what's the atmosphere around there for people that maybe won't be watching this from different areas that maybe don't know where Corona's at? What's the atmosphere over there? Is it gang related over there? Is it, old white people walking around with poodles? Like what's the atmosphere that you grew up in?
The atmosphere, to be honest, it's nothing but actually Latinos and Latinas, literally. Hardworking people. There's like a taqueria. There's like a taco stand. It's pretty small. I guess in some areas there is some gang related, but it's not as bad as before when I was younger. It's not as bad. But there's just certain areas you just stay away from and just kind of like, all right. But it's pretty small, but then big at the same time. Like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of traffic sometimes because it's streets and freeways. But other than that, to be honest, the atmosphere for me, I grew up here and I like the atmosphere of it.
And then just growing up, so was your family a bunch of singers and everyone singing like in the household and bumping music? What was that like growing up with, that many kids in the house? Was there a lot of music going on? What was the kind of atmosphere at home?
Definitely crazy, with nothing but kids running around being crazy. But the one thing I do remember as a kid was there was always music playing. And it was always either oldies to Motown to old school music, sometimes Spanish, and having like parties and that's all I hear is music and my family always getting together with the cousins and it's just going crazy. That's what I remember.
And what kind of got you into the soul music? What was like maybe the first oldie you may have heard or channel that you were listening to when you were younger?
I would be my dad, because my dad was a huge oldie collector. He had nothing but, which back in the day used to have like the little cassette tapes, the cassette tapes, and then it went to like the CDs. So we went to the CDs, and my dad had collected nothing but oldies. So all I remember is my dad going through them, putting them on, on the CD, and I just remember just sitting there, just listening to the music and just, I don't know, I guess just hearing it and that type of music, oldies and that vibe, it just was like, I don't know, it kind of just got me drawn into it. And then as I just was getting older and just, I just was getting more drawn into it and it just kind of like went into a trickling effect to like as to where it is now. Like that's all I ever listened to most of the time. And I love to sing it. Like, I don't know, it's just that type of vibe it gives you. Like you just feel when they're singing, like you feel it, it's coming from like from their soul, from their heart, like either when it's happy or when it's sad. It's like, I don't know. And then sometimes when there's people that don't know how to speak, they have the music to speak for them, so I think that's where I got it from. It's definitely my dad. It's all music.
And were you like singing along and like in front of your parents and like, hey, I could really sing this, like this part and all that, or not really? Were you shy or were you?
I think it was both, to be honest. But if there was like a certain song for some reason like that I just really liked, my dad used to hate it as I used to play it over and over and repeat it basically till like the CD was scratched. Like and the one I would remember that I would sing along with or even hum to or just kind of like sing on top of it is Angel Baby. For some reason that caught my eye when I was little, and I used to play that one over and over again, and I used to just either hum along or, you know, sing it and then try to hit the notes when, you know, when you're little, like, I think I can hit it, but then, you know, but when you're little, you don't know. But, but yeah, so I would just usually any song at the time I would be stuck with it. I would just play it, and then just keep hearing it. And yeah.
Yeah, so Angel Baby was one of the first songs that I ever heard you perform on one of your videos.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to that song back, it's like, man, you really nailed that song. So how long have you been singing that song?
Thank you. I've been singing that song since I was 14. I did do it in 6th grade, but I wouldn't really count that. Basically on and off since I was 14, but you know, at that time, you know, you're young, your voice is still developing. So, you know, there were sometimes I was like, can't hit the note, can't do this, you know, but then, you know, as I got older, you know, the more practice, the more effort I put into it. And in a way, I kind of did it the same as her, but then at the same time did it into my type of style, especially on the high notes. I kind of did a little different, but still kept it original in homage of her to Rosie.
You're like an angel.
I really like that, you've used the social media to really get your name out there, and it's really helped you in many ways. And I love that you're just kind of like dived into like the culture. You're at the lowrider show, you're doing your thing out there. So, what do you really love about the Latino culture, the lowrider culture, the oldie culture? What do you love about it?
Oh, there's so many things. I mean, the lowrider, I fell in love with it since I was a baby. My dad has, which we still have it, but my dad had a 64 Impala. Fell in love with it. We used to cruise around it and go to car shows, since I was little. I guess it's just the atmosphere, how, the way you represent your car is like a representative of yourself, and how much love you put into that car, and how much you take care of it. You're showing people like who you are as a person with their car, and just seeing how everyone is so proud of what they are and their car, and when they're with their family, it's like basically like a family thing too, because you see kids, you see their wives or their husbands. It's just that environment, like everything is just so laid back, everybody's there as one, and everyone is there basically for the love of what we all do, which is the lowrider and oldies as well. I feel like oldies is the same thing as well. It kind of brings us all together, or brings a time in our life, which it could bring from back in the day, something in the past you could think of, like, oh, I was at this place when this song came on when I first heard it, to a memory of somebody maybe you once loved or lost, So I think it's like that. I would say that's a big impact of like what made me fall in love, and how much I love that lowriders and oldies.
Yeah, and I like that, kind of where the oldie scene is going. And, it's kind of cool that, back when we were younger, you had like the hip hop and stuff that was kind of bringing up back like that funk, and it kind of bring the old school with the new school, and it kind of just bring that culture, the lowrider culture, all that kind of blended in with that, that rap at that time.
Yeah.
Now it's like the kids are kind of hearing like the soul, but they're hearing like a cover version of it, or they're hearing like maybe a sample from an oldie and into the new hip hop or the new soul song. So it's kind of cool that you're adding to that. And, have you had any like younger fans come up to you and like, man, I really like your song? Or have you had any of when you're at these events, have you had any fans approach you like that?
Oh yeah, all the time. I even have some people, I would say the one that sometimes gets people is the cover that I did, which is How Can I Tell My Mom and Dad? That one probably hit a lot of people, not even just in the older generation from like way back in the day, like, ooh, like you brought me back to when I was feeling this type of way, or, to even to this new generation to now, it's just crazy how it's like how you said, like, it's kind of like a full circle effect. It's kind of like in a circle, or, how they feel at that time, like, oh, dang, like you made, like how that song made me feel like how I be feeling right now, or even just a happy song that I've done. It's just crazy, like, or even the newer generation that probably never heard of oldies, and then now maybe they've heard maybe my cover, and then it's kind of be like, well, what is this, So it's kind of like for me, it's kind of like opening the gates for the new generation, but then also bringing back something and memories for the older generations as well.
Yeah, it's like a double whammy. So, and I think that's why the modern soul is so popular right now, because you are getting the older crowd and the newer crowd is getting into that, and it's like the modern R&B, So it's like, this is what it is. And I remember going to a tuxedo show. This was like 3 years ago, and being there, and it was weird. Like I seen like some old guys, that would like, what? Like I didn't expect that, because they sing like, kind of like the funk, and it's like old school, but I wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah.
And then seeing that, I was like, wow, this is like really hitting like all cylinders, all different type of culture, young, old, everybody. So that's really cool that you're able to, kind of be a part of that culture, and you're doing things in a big way. So a lot of the videos that I've seen are getting a lot of hits, right? So you're getting definitely attention out there. Your Instagram is just blowing up, right?
Yeah.
And I want to go into that. So I think what's really cool about you, like, again, is that you are like like in the culture. Like you're doing your thing, you're singing your songs. Like I don't know, do you take requests on Instagram at all? Or you do whatever you
I
want
do
to do?
sometimes. I do my best, to be honest. I always try to tell people, like, I'm sorry if you don't think I'm ignoring you, but it's not the case. It's just sometimes the songs that they request, it's kind of hard to find either the instrumental or the ones that don't have like the music on top of it. So it kind of makes it of a struggle, but I do the best that I can to please my fans and to please them. And if there is a instrumental, then like I will get to it, and I will make sure that I do it right and I do it justice, not just for the fans, but to the artists as well, that made the song.
Yeah, you really do really good on those songs. And I like the way that there's some songs that you've done that like you do it in your own special way, which is really cool. So if if you find this video, definitely go check out her Instagram. Just the way she does a lot of those songs are just different and really cool how you just interact with the fans. Can you give us an idea of when you started really taking this serious? And kind of give us that background so people kind of understand where you came from as far as jumping into this industry.
I didn't start taking it seriously till it's like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. I didn't start taking it seriously then as to when I was with the band that I'm still with now, BB Wolf. They had ended up having a girl for a party that they requested to have a girl singer. Just so happened she ended up she couldn't make it. She had to back down, so they had to find one really quick. It just so happened the place that they were performing at, it was at one of my family's events. So me, was like, oh, let me just sing again Angel Baby for my family at this event. And it just so happened they asked me like, hey, what are you doing in like 2 weeks? And I was like, nothing, probably work, I don't know. And they're like, hey, a girl backed out. They requested a girl at this birthday party. Can you sing all these songs? We're gonna give you these lists in 2 weeks. So it was like, oh, okay. So then I was like, I already knew the songs. It's just more like how I'm gonna hit the note and what key it's in for me to suit it for me. So surprisingly, I did it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks went by. They were totally impressed. They thought I killed it, and they were like thoroughly impressed with it. And then after that, they just kept calling me and hitting me up like, hey, what are you doing for this weekend? This weekend, this weekend. We're getting booked for this and getting booked for that. So it just kind of went in a trickling effect. So the more I kept performing with them, the more I felt confident. Like, okay, maybe I am good. Like, or everyone keeps telling me I'm good, like, okay, maybe. So then that's when I finally took the liberty to finally have the confidence to finally post a video, which was last year, which was Patty Drew Tell Him. And then that video went viral. And that's when the following started going up, the reposts and the comments and the likes. And then probably a month after that, not even a month after that, I think like 2 weeks after that video came out, or maybe less than that, is when the record label that I am signed to now is the one that found me. And then I met with them in the meeting. And then a month after that, I signed with them. And then from there, it just kind of went from there. And then here we are now.
I mean, that's like such an incredible story. And I remember just listening to you tell it, it's like, wow, like things can really happen quickly in this world today. It's really cool. I mean, there's a little girl out there, or a little boy out there that's just thinking about singing, and man, what if I just put out a video? You just never know. And here you go. I mean, it's just that crazy right now. And yeah, I mean, you have the style, you have the look, you got the voice, you got the following, you're in the culture. And I think, again, that's what separates you, I think, from a lot of other artists out there. It's just that you're in that culture. Like, it's so cool, like, to see, like, again, like the Instagram and walking around with the beer and like hanging out, and it's like, wow, she's like here, she's kicking it with us, she's like Tupac, like from the party. Like, that's really cool. That's something that as a fan I can appreciate that, and to see you at an event and doing stuff like that, that's really cool. But I like that it's possible for someone who has talent like yourself to be out there doing it and get that opportunity that, you know, you would never get that back in the day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like I think I was thinking about it today, you know, I was thinking about like, you know, Mariah Carey, for example. I mean, for a fan to contact Mariah Carey back in the day, you had to like write a letter, put a stamp on it, send it out. Maybe her butler will get it, and you know, if the dog doesn't chew it up, then she'll get it, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll write you back. Like now it's like so changed. Like people can reach out to you, you can reach out to fans, you can sing your songs right there on Instagram, and people get an idea who you are. So I think just times have really changed. So now you've put out some videos that are really good quality, and you signed on the label. What was like the first song that you tackled with the record deal and put out?
It's kind of funny because a lot of people thought it was Laughing Boy. That was my record label's idea. They were like, "You're perfect for that, the voice, your tone, it's perfect, you know." So we tackled that. But the funny thing, which I'm gonna give everyone behind the story, is I tackled that one, and I actually brought This Love Is Real by the Love Lights. I brought it to my team. They've never heard the song. I played it for them, and they were like, "Oh my God," like, you know, and I kind of gave them a little taste, and I started singing it, and they're like, "We have to do this one." So then fast forward, doing the video shoot is my first time shooting, and I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, and the first video was actually This Love Is Real. I shot first, and then it was Laughing Boy, but we put out Laughing Boy first and then This Love Is Real, so it kind of was like a twisted. So
Yeah, so what is it like being on the set? I mean, you're super raw, right? But I mean, what is it like to be on the set and everyone's focused on you, and your makeup is always on point, so I give you that. I mean, but like, did you have to do your own makeup? Were they doing your makeup? Like, what was that day like?
Oh no, all my outfits are mine. My makeup, I do my own makeup, do my own hair. I do my own. I have different styles, and it depends on the video, as to like the feel of it, the mood of it, or even sometimes they'll send me like where we're gonna shoot the video, and I kind of go based on that. So it's like, okay, we're gonna shoot at this place. Okay, so this is how, kind of gives me an idea like how I'm gonna dress or what the song is, and I have to play the song to kind of be like, okay, this is the look I'm going for, this is the style I'm trying to go for. But it does get very nerve-wracking for me. I get super nervous, as always, surprisingly as it sounds, but I do get nervous. But then after I start shooting, it's like a light switch. It's just kind of like, all right, like you need to do this. You need to basically kill this, and you need to make the fans proud, like, you know, because they want to see the video. They want good quality of it. So
yeah, and I've seen all the videos that you put together, and the styles and the colors, and it just really works. So you have what, volume 1 out now?
Yeah.
That's been out, but what songs are on there? What are some of your favorites there? I guess if you let people know, you know, what songs you've chosen to do on that first record.
So volume 1 is already out. You can definitely get that now at my website. I would say one of them was by the record label. They were which was Laughing Boy. Then there is How Can I Tell My Mom and Dad, was also the record label's idea. Those were the 2 songs. This Love Is Real is my idea. The One Who Really Loves You, and You Really Got a Hold on Me. You Really Got a Hold of Me, one of my favorite songs. Actually, a song, I was like, I kind of figured like it needed some upbeat because there was a lot of slow songs. So I was like, there needs to be something kind of like not too slow, but not too fast, but just like perfect. And then that's when it ended up having Coda, the barber, we came with the idea of, hey, let's do a duet. You guys would be perfect. So finally got to meet him, went in the studio for that. I would say out of all those, it's so hard to choose which was my favorite, because there is always a reason for different whys I have favorites of all the songs I did. I would have to say, that's so hard. I think it would be the You Really Got a Hold on Me with Coda. I don't know why, for some reason it's just probably the best one, and it's actually the highest video for us that hit 1 million out of all my videos. So I mean, it kind of works out.
Yeah, that video is at like 1.5 million people have seen it. So it's a classic song. Everyone knows that song. That's like the Art Laboe classic, right? What was it like to work with Coda on that? It looks like you guys had a really good vibe on the video. So what was it like working with him and putting that song together with him?
Oh, it was perfect. Like, our vibe was like instant. Like, it was like when we first met, it's just our vibe, our like chemistry was just like perfect, and he was thinking what I was thinking. It was kind of like, it just kind of was meant to be, I guess you could say. And when we shot up the video, it was just very natural. We're always joking around. We're always, he's always cracking jokes. He always knows how to make me laugh. And he does, to be honest, he does really great impressions on some voices. So it kind of trips me out. But I mean, overall, just working with him and the whole vibe of us singing and getting to know each other as each other artists, and getting each other's opinion, it actually worked out. And literally, I mean, I would love to work with him again, like just do another song with him. Like, he's just a great singer and a great artist as well.
Yeah, and he's a seasoned vet. He's been around, right? So, I mean, did you pick up any pointers from him, like when you get in the studio? Because that would be like, I mean, I don't know if that was the first time you're in a studio like that, but I mean, like, you're in there with a guy that knows what he's doing and he's been around, he knows what's going on. Any pointers that he laid out to you at all as you guys are doing that, or?
The pointer is to relax and have fun. Just kind of just go with the flow kind of thing, you know?
And then you've done another song with Malik, which I really like that duet. You guys together killed that. And that was Hello Stranger.
I did that with Malik. That was the record label's idea as well. Like, hey, we think you should do a duet with this one. We think Malik is a good fit for this one. So I, you know, we dived in. I, you know, kind of was like, all right, let's do it. Like, you know, believing in the team. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Same thing. First time meeting him, same thing. Vibe was good. Everything was, you know. I was super nervous because, you know, that one. I think that one I'd say, even though it's like a kind of an easy song, it's still challenging because you gotta hit some notes where it's like soft to like not to come too hard or too loud, you know. So in some kind of way, it was very challenging, and it was challenging to kind of come together with him and his voice and his tone versus, you know, mine.
Yeah, there's times when I first heard that song, I'm like, I don't know if she's singing or he's singing. His voice is like so high. I'm like, whoa. And that was one of the first times I ever heard you and then him, because I interviewed him. He was one of the first interviews that he gave me the opportunity. He threw out a major bone and let me interview him, which I really highly appreciate. But that was one of the songs that really caught my attention because the way that you guys did the duet, it just was really fascinating the way that you guys both did it together.
Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab.
Hello, stranger. It seems so good to see you back again. How long has it been?
Seems like a mighty long time. Shabab, shabab, my baby.
It seems like a mighty long time. Oh, I'm so glad you stopped by to say hello to me. Remember, that's the way it used to be. Ooh, it seems like a mighty long time. Shabba, shabba, my baby. Ooh, it seems like a mighty long time.
Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab, my
Yes,
baby.
I'm so
Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab,
that you're
my baby.
here
Shabab, shabab, my baby.
If you're not gonna stay, please don't treat me like you did before, because I still love you so. Although it seems like a mighty long time. Shabba, shabba, my baby. Ooh, it seems like a mighty long time.
Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab, my baby.
I'm so
Shabab,
happy
my baby. Shabab, shabab,
that you're
my baby.
here.
Shabab, shabab, my baby. Shabab, shabab.
have a dream duet person that you would like to do a song with?
Oh my God. It would have to be Smokey Robinson. If I could do that, I mean, just putting the universe out there. Putting it out there for the universe. If it could be Smokey Robinson, I would die happy, to be honest. I would die happy.
Any particular song that you'd want to do with him, or something maybe brand new or a cover?
I would pick a cover, and it has to be my all-time favorite song from him that I actually sing all the time with my band. It has to be Ooh Baby Baby. If I could sing that with him, I will be the happiest girl alive. That's actually my favorite song from him. I just don't know, the way he sang that song, and you could feel like his soul, and I actually, when you hear the words and the lyrics to that song, I actually can relate to it. So putting my emotions in it too, you know, so it's, yeah, I have to do that song with him.
Yeah, that's a great song. And that guy is like ageless. Like every time I see him, he just looks like he doesn't age.
He just gets younger.
Yeah, and he still sings like an angel. So it's like, it's crazy. But yeah, he's still doing it. Any other artists that you grew up admiring, just growing up and loved singing their songs?
Yeah. Definitely Etta James was one for the books for like the raw, like deep soul, you know. Linda Ronstadt is actually one of them too. I know she did a lot of covers for, you know, with Smokey as well, and the early days from her time, Linda Ronstadt, Smokey Robinson, I think Diana Ross and Supremes when I was a little girl. That was like my all-time. Yeah, I think those are like the main ones. I would say that was like the huge inspiration.
So writing your own music, that's something that I think, you know, to be an artist, obviously you got to write your own songs, right? And these songs that you're putting out, really good. One of the, obviously these are like the staples of soul music. So what is your process now, like in the future? Are you writing your own songs? Are you looking for producers? What's going to be like your next step as an artist?
My next step as an artist is I want to start growing more and start challenging myself more as well. I feel like you can never you can't ever stop challenging yourself. I feel like there's just something in there in me, whereas like I have way more to offer, I have way more to show. Like you guys are just barely seeing the beginning stages of where I'm at, and I know I have a lot more to show and grow and make more music for you guys as well. But I mean, as far as original music, I mean, I'm sticking to bringing that retro soul music as to like oldies, but like the newer version of it, and for the new generation and for the old generation as well.
And would you like to play with like a band like BB Wolf, like to do some of these originals or...
Yes, with the band, it just comes more together and more, it just sounds more better. It's weird to say, because I've had other artists that I've talked to where they're like, I'm used to track, I'm not used to with the band, whereas versus me, I started off with the band, I'm still getting used to the track, you know. So I'm like the complete opposite of what everyone else, every other artist that I've spoke to. Or there are some that are similar like me, like, oh, I'm used to with the band, not with the track. But for me, if I had to choose personally, it has to be with the band. I don't know why, just like the vibe and the feel of it.
Yeah, there's definitely more energy with the live music, and it's just like there's always that unpredictable, I don't know what's gonna happen next kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You know? What is it like to be in front of crowds when you're singing with BB Wolf? What is it like to kind of see the crowd move to the songs that you guys are playing, and what songs are you guys playing as well?
The vibe is always good, whether it's us playing cumbias, some Spanish music, to oldies, to like old school music. It just depends on the mood and the vibe and the events as well. And too, sometimes they always come up and request something, and if we do know it, we'll play it. If we don't, we're like, oh, you know what, for sure we don't know. But then we will remember, like, hey, this was requested. Maybe at another event it'll get requested again, but this time we need to know how to do it just in case when people request it, we know it. The vibe is always good. I mean, just seeing people the way they dance, or sometimes they can even come up to us like, you brought me back to a time, you know, where I was at this place or at this time, and just making them feel good, you know, like, or making them feel like how they felt when they were back in the day, and how much they love the music as much as we do as well.
You've known this band for a very long time, and they pretty much, well, you tell the story. You tell us, I guess, how that whole relationship started and where it's kind of like full circle brought you to now in your career.
So I met them through my dad. Those are my dad's friends. He was working at a job at a school district from a friend, and then they would just invite us to, you know, go watch football, or, you know, like the band, you know, whatever. So my dad used to have us all the time. My mom used to work nights, so my dad used to always have to take us everywhere he had to go. So everything he was invited to, he had to bring all his 3 kids along. So when I was seeing the band, I just kind of, like I said, like anything with music, I just fell in love with. And then I was like, oh, I know this song, or I remember this song. This is an oldie song, you know? So just seeing it, I like fell in love with it. I didn't start singing with them until like I was about 14, on and off. And same thing, everyone knew me as Angel Baby. That's the only song I knew at that time, or I felt confident enough to sing with the band at the time. So everyone would be like, oh, there's Angel Baby, bring her, sing that song. Every time I was at an event with them, like they'll just randomly bring me up, you know? And yeah, so like fast forward and into, they just kept calling me to just, hey, they seen how much I've grown from like being little Monica to like now me. They've seen how much growth and how much my voice has basically blossomed, I guess you could say, like kind of just grow. So they just seen the potential, I guess. So then that's when they just said, you know what, you're with the band now, and you're sticking with us. And I am the only girl in the band too, so it's nothing but dudes, but I love them.
coming out with another volume 2. What songs are you gonna do on that? What can we expect from that?
You can expect a little bit more into depth as to me as an artist. There are a couple songs in there, obviously that are already out now as the singles, but they will be in the volume 2. For example, I did do Angel Baby, did a cover for that. I had to do that song in homage of basically where it all started when I was little. The first song I started to learn to sing and hum, and and to pay homage to my family, which that's all they knew me as. Sorry Daddy is on volume 2, is going to be on there as well. Sorry Daddy was a song my dad dedicated to me. And a fun fact is my record label didn't know about that song either. They didn't know about it. I brought the tune because the Notations did a cover of Daddy's Home, and I was like, hey, you guys ever heard of the answer to Daddy's Home? And they're like, wait, there's a what? And I was like, here. So I showed it to them, and they're like, well, we never heard of this. I was like, yeah, it's a girl and it's the answer to Daddy's Home. And they just were like, oh my God, they fell in love with it. And then that's when they got the idea, like, oh, well, since the Notations did Daddy's Home, we're gonna see if they want to be in the backup singers for Sorry Daddy. They said yes. And it just kind of went from there. Those two were basically my own personal, personal for me as to like for my family. Hello Stranger was their idea as to doing a duet, but I do love the song as well. And the last song actually that we just finished booking, singing and doing the shoot as well is I Love You for All Seasons by The Fuzz. Again, I brought that to the table as to that is actually one of my all-time favorite oldies song, even though I have so many favorite oldies, but like that's probably like one of the top ones. And then they brought up the idea as to do the duet, but do it with Malik again as well.
I want to go back to the Notations, doing that song, and I've listened to that song. It's a great song. And you did the video as well, which is really cool. What was it like working with like seasoned veterans like that?
Oh, I felt like it was a big shoe to fill. Definitely a big shoe to fill, and I wanted to do it justice and do it right. And I was nervous in the beginning, but obviously when I met them and I got to know them, they're literally so down to earth. They're so loving, and they were like telling me like, oh my God, we've seen your videos, we've seen how you sing, like we're such a huge fan. And I'm looking at them like I'm crazy, looking at them like they're crazy, and I'm looking at them like, you're a fan, I'm a fan, I've known you guys since like I was little, like and a little starstruck, I could say. But I me how to keep my composure and how to keep not go crazy, like super fan crazy. But seriously, I would put that off my bucket list as to like I will definitely remember that moment, having them to work with them and for them to be on the song.
And then also with Malik, with the new song that you're working on, as far as for that, what was it like to work with him again? I know this is kind of different circumstances because the first time that you guys worked together, you're kind of like raw, super raw.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of going into the soul scene. You were in the soul scene, but you're new. Now you guys are kind of like seasoned a little bit. So he's obviously seasoned, and then you are like been doing it almost like 2 years now. So now coming back together, what was it like? What was the feeling there? Like, hey, like here we go again.
When they made basically when they came forward as to like, hey, you should do a duet with Malik. We did have a group chat. We talked about it. Malik was definitely on board. He was like, yo, we killed Hello Stranger, and it was not only a huge platform that rose for not just for me, but for him as well, and us together. It just kind of grew our fan base, and it helped with my fans who didn't know who Malik was to go look at his stuff, as well vice versa as to his fans who didn't know me, and they came to my stuff like, who is this chick, who is this person, and it just kind of came all together. So we just felt like Hello Stranger was a great success. Why not do another duet, but kind of take it a step further and a step notch, like up more, and kind of challenge it. So we all came aboard. We thought it was a great idea, and it's actually really great. I cannot wait for the video to come out and to show everyone. seriously, I'm in love with it, and I know everyone else is going to be in love with it as well.
And that's coming out. We're hoping that it's going to come out before the year ends, right?
Hoping and praying it'll be here probably before Christmas or maybe a couple of days after, but definitely before the end of the year we're definitely pushing that. So besides my singing, I mean, I do everything. I'm like juggling everything. During the day, I am a caregiver. I work with kids with autism and disabilities. I love that job. So basically I help parents that have to go to the store or have to go run errands. And, you know, sometimes it gets a little difficult, especially with the disability or the autism that they have. It sometimes gets a little difficult. They need that extra help. I'm there to help whatever they need. So, I mean, I do have a little brother that is autism. He's 7 years old. He's autistic. So I've helped raise him. So it kind of gave me experience into that and in depth of, you know, how to deal with kids, how to be patient, especially with the disability and as to what they have. So that's like my day job.
And I mean, it takes a very special person to do that specific job, and to have the patience and to really, for someone to even stick with that, it's really tough, because it's just like, it's every day. It's in some cases never going to get better, but you in their life makes it better, right? So, but it was interesting that we had talked about before we got on, is that the people that you take care of their kids, they don't know that you're a singer, right? They don't have no idea. So like, you're like Catwoman.
No, I'm basically Batgirl. You just put the signal on and I just come out at night. I'm I guess you could say I'm a little weird as to like, I don't really put myself out there. I mean, obviously on social media, but like in person, I guess I'm more to myself and just more personal. And I just kind of like, you know, whatever I do outside of work is like, that's what I do. I don't really like to put it out there as much, I guess, especially with my job. Because I mean, with my job, I'm there for that reason. I'm not there for my singing or anything. I'm there for, you know, my job. So it's kind of like, I have to separate the two, but it works out with the scheduling, you know, it works out. So I'm not complaining too much.
No, that's awesome. And that's great that you do that. It takes a very special person to do that type of work, and to, you know, to be there for children and adults that are, you know, have still special needs. Well, I wanted to let everyone know, or, you know, that you can give out where people can find your music and like your Instagram and YouTube and all that good stuff. You want to drop that so that people can find you?
Yeah, so all my music is on all platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Google Music. My YouTube is Monica Rocha Vivo, so don't forget to subscribe. But not only that, but hit the bell notification so you will get the notification right away. Any videos that we post, you'll get it right away. My Instagram is bombshells_oldiesbabe. You could definitely follow me from there. And if you want to buy the CDs, we do have merch as well. Go to www.monicarochamusic.com. You can get all that, and
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely check out her Instagram, because that's where like you'll get like exclusive singing at night.
You'll get like behind the scenes too, here and there, of like on my stories. I usually do like little behind the scenes, or sometimes I go live, give you little sneak peeks of upcoming stuff, or sometimes I do sing live here and there. So you have to definitely check out for that as well.
Yeah, and then she got like modeling pictures on there too.
Yeah.
The car shows, the car stuff.
Low rider model as well. I mean, like I said, I juggle everything. I do more than one thing. So.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with, you know, the channel Universoul Groove. Really love the music that you're doing. I really appreciate the stuff that you do outside of work with the kids, and then. Yeah, I really just enjoy like the content that you're putting out there. It's just really cool to follow and see your journey there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing new music coming out from you. And I'm sure the fans are as well.
Yes, I'm very excited to show the fans. Keep giving them what they want. They want more music. I'm going to keep giving them more music.
Cool. Well, thank you again. And we'll see you soon.